The bell above La Dolce Vita bakery chimed as Rosa Martinez pushed open the glass door, her 7-year-old son Miguel bouncing beside her with barely contained excitement. "Mommy, look at all the cakes!" Miguel pressed his nose against the display case, eyes wide with wonder. "They're so big." Rosa's chest tightened as she looked at the elaborate creations behind the glass. 3-tier masterpieces decorated with fondant superheroes, princess castles, race cars. Each one probably cost more than she made in a week, waiting tables at Vincenzo's, the struggling Italian restaurant downtown where her boss Tony paid her under minimum wage and pocketed the tips. But today was different. Today was Miguel's birthday, and Rosa had been saving for 6 months. Every extra shift, every skipped lunch, every dollar that didn't go to rent or Miguel's asthma medication went into an old coffee can hidden in the back of her closet. $85. She had exactly $85. It wasn't much, but it should be enough for a small cake. Something special. Something that would make her son's eyes light up the way they were lighting up right now. "Good afternoon." A woman appeared behind the counter, mid-40s, blonde highlights, expensive clothes, and the kind of tight smile that never reached her eyes. Her name tag read, "Patricia, owner." "Hi," Rosa said, forcing confidence into her voice despite her worn jeans and faded jacket. "I'd like to order a birthday cake, please." "Of course." Patricia's eyes swept over Rosa, taking in the second-hand clothes, the tired eyes, the way Rosa clutched her small purse protectively. "When do you need it?" "Saturday. It's for my son's birthday." Rosa put her hand on Miguel's shoulder. "He's turning 7. Miguel beamed up at Patricia. "I want a superhero cake, with Spider-Man." How charming. Patricia's smile didn't change. She pulled out a catalog and flipped it open. "We have several superhero designs. This one is quite popular. 2 tiers, hand-painted details, serves 20 people. That's $185. Rosa's stomach dropped. "Oh, I was thinking something smaller. Maybe 1 tier? Our single-tier custom cakes start at $120. The number hit Rosa like a fist. She'd researched online, called around. The prices she'd seen were $60, $75, maybe $80 for custom work. When had everything gotten so expensive? Rosa's voice came out small. "Do you have anything for around $85? That's my budget." Patricia's expression shifted. Not quite contempt, but close. "Miss, this is La Dolce Vita. We use imported Italian ingredients, professional pastry chefs. Our cakes are artwork. I'm afraid $85 won't get you much here. Perhaps you'd be better served at a grocery store bakery?" Heat flooded Rosa's face. Around them, she could feel other customers turning to look. A well-dressed woman with a designer handbag whispered something to her companion. Both looked at Rosa with barely disguised pity. "Please," Rosa said quietly, hating the desperation in her voice. "It's his birthday. Isn't there anything you can do? Even a small cake with simple decoration?" "Mommy, it's okay." Miguel tugged at her sleeve, his earlier excitement fading. He was too smart, too perceptive. He could read the shame on her face. "I don't need a big cake." "Yes, you do, mi amor." Rosa knelt down and cupped his face. "You deserve something special." Patricia sighed, a sound that managed to be both bored and annoyed. "Miss, I'm running a business, not a charity. If you can't afford our products, I'm going to have to ask you to... The Spider-Man cake." A man's voice, deep and commanding, cut through the tension. "She'll take the Spider-Man cake. Whatever the best one you have, I'm paying." Rosa spun around. A man stood 3 feet away, and everything about him screamed power. Mid-40s, dark hair touched with silver at the temples, Sharp jawline, expensive black suit that probably cost more than Rosa made in 3 months. His eyes were dark brown, almost black, and they held something Rosa couldn't quite name, grief maybe, or exhaustion beneath the authority. But it was the two men flanking him that made Rosa's blood run cold. Both wore dark suits. Both had the unmistakable bulge of weapons beneath their jackets, and both watched the bakery with the casual alertness of men accustomed to violence. Rosa knew who he was. Everyone in this neighborhood knew. Dante Castellano, the Castellano family boss, the man who controlled half the city's underground operations, who could make people disappear with a phone call, who was treated with fear and respect in equal measure. And he was offering to buy her son a birthday cake. "Sir, that's very kind," Rosa said carefully, standing and stepping slightly in front of Miguel. "But we can't accept." "Why not?" Dante's expression didn't change. He looked at Miguel, who was staring at him with wide, uncertain eyes. "What's your name, kid?" "Miguel," the boy whispered. "Miguel, good strong name." Dante's voice softened slightly. "It's your birthday?" "Saturday. I'll be 7. 7. That's a big deal. You definitely need a good cake for that." Dante turned to Patricia, who had gone pale. "The Spider-Man cake. 2 tiers. Best quality. And," he looked at the display case, "a dozen of those chocolate cannolis and one of those Superman cookies." "Mr. Castellano." Patricia's voice had changed completely. Obsequious now, eager to please. "Of course, sir. Right away. The 2-tier Spider-Man is $185, and I don't care about the price. Just make it perfect." Dante pulled out his wallet, black leather, thick with bills. He handed Patricia $300 bills. "Keep the change, and have it delivered Saturday morning to—" He looked at Rosa. "Where?" Rosa's mind was racing. This was wrong. This was dangerous. Men like Dante Castellano didn't do favors without expecting something in return. Everyone knew that. But Miguel was looking at the Spider-Man, cake in the catalog with such hope, such pure joy, and Rosa's heart was breaking because she couldn't give him this one simple thing. "Please," Dante said, and something in his voice made Rosa look at him properly. Beneath the power and the expensive suit, she saw something else. Pain. Deep, old pain that hadn't healed. "Let me do this. I have my reasons." One of the men behind Dante, tall, scarred face, cold eyes, leaned forward. "Boss, we have that meeting." "Marco, shut up." Dante didn't take his eyes off Rosa. "I'm asking you, as one parent to another. Let me give your son something to smile about. As one parent to another." The words hit Rosa strangely. She studied Dante's face and saw it there. The grief of someone who'd lost a child, or was remembering one. She didn't know his story, but she recognized the ache. "Okay," Rosa said finally. "Thank you. That's very kind." Miguel's face exploded with joy. "Really, Mommy? Really?" "Really, mi tesoro." Rosa gave Patricia her address, voice tight with emotion. 2847 Elm Street, apartment 3B. Patricia wrote it down, suddenly treating Rosa like an honored customer. "We'll have it there by 10 a.m. Saturday, Miss Martinez, Rosa Martinez." Dante watched the exchange, then looked down at Miguel. "You like superheroes?" Miguel nodded enthusiastically. "Spider-Man's my favorite. He helps people even when it's scary." Something flickered across Dante's face. "That's what makes him a hero? Being scared but doing the right thing anyway." "That's what my mom does," Miguel said with the innocent honesty of children. "She works really hard even when she's tired and sad. She's my superhero." Rosa felt tears burning her eyes. Dante's expression softened in a way that transformed his entire face, made him look less like a crime boss and more like a heartbroken father. "Your mom sounds pretty special," Dante said quietly. "She is." Miguel suddenly stepped forward and hugged Dante's leg. "Thank you for my cake, mister." Dante froze. For a moment, he looked like he might break down completely. His hand slowly, carefully, rested on Miguel's head. "You're welcome, kid. Happy birthday." Rosa gently pulled Miguel back. "Thank you, Mr. Castellano. We should go." As they turned toward the door, Rosa heard Patricia gushing. "Mr. Castellano, it's always such a pleasure when you—" "Just make sure the cake is perfect," Dante interrupted coldly. "And Patricia, if I hear you talk down to another customer because they can't afford your prices, I'll remember this conversation. Understood?" Yes, sir. Of course, sir." Outside, Rosa grabbed Miguel's hand and walked quickly, wanting to put distance between them and the bakery, between them and Dante Castellano. "Mommy, slow down," Miguel protested. "Why are we running?" "We're not running, mi amor. I just need to get home and start dinner." "That man was nice. He bought me a cake." Rosa stopped and knelt down to Miguel's level. "He was kind, yes. But Miguel, listen to me. That man is complicated. He's not someone we should get close to. Do you understand?" "Why not?" "Because he's dangerous," Rosa wanted to say. "Because men like him operate in a world of violence and betrayal. Because accepting gifts from him might mean owing him something someday. And I don't know what price he might demand." But Miguel was 7, and it was his birthday week, and he was looking at her with such innocent confusion. "Just trust me, okay?" We thanked him. "That's enough." "Okay, Mommy." They walked the 6 blocks to their apartment building, a rundown complex in a neighborhood where sirens were the soundtrack of every night. Rosa's mind wouldn't stop spinning. Why had Dante helped them? What did he want? As one parent to another. He'd lost a child. She was suddenly certain of it. The pain in his eyes, the way he'd looked at Miguel, the gentle touch on the boy's head. Those were the actions of a man remembering something precious that was gone. Inside their tiny 2-room apartment, Rosa made dinner while Miguel did homework at the small kitchen table. Rice and beans, the same meal they ate most nights. Tomorrow she'd work the lunch shift at Vincenzo's, where Tony would yell at her for being too slow and pocket the tips that should have been hers. But Saturday, Miguel would have his Spider-Man cake. And maybe, just maybe, that would be enough to make him forget how little they had. She was washing dishes when she heard the knock. Rosa froze. It was 8:30 p.m. Nobody knocked this late unless it was trouble. "Stay there," she told Miguel, grabbing the kitchen knife and approaching the door. She looked through the peephole. It was Marco, Dante's scarred enforcer from the bakery. Rosa's heart hammered. She cracked the door, leaving the chain on. "What do you want?" Marco's expression was unreadable. "Mr. Castellano wanted me to give you this." He held up a business card. "His private number, in case you need anything. And—" he pulled out an envelope. "This." "I don't want his money," Rosa said immediately. "It's not money. It's information." Marco's tone was flat, businesslike. "The bakery owner, Patricia. She's been overcharging customers for months, especially ones she thinks can't complain. Mr. Castellano made some calls. Health inspectors visiting her tomorrow. Few other people too. She'll probably be offering discounts by next week." Rosa blinked. "Why would he?" "Because he doesn't like people who kick others when they're down." Marco shoved the card and envelope through the crack. "Take it. Don't call unless you need to, but if you do need to, he'll answer. Before Rosa could respond, Marco turned and walked away, disappearing down the stairs. Rosa closed the door and stared at the card. Heavy stock, simple black text, Dante Castellano private line, and a phone number. The envelope contained a single piece of paper. Rosa unfolded it and read the handwritten message. Ms. Martinez, today would have been my daughter, Sophia's 8th birthday. She died a year ago. When I saw your son's face at that bakery, I saw her. The same joy, the same innocence, the same hope. I don't expect anything from you. I don't want anything. I just wanted to do something good today, in her memory. Your son reminded me that good things still exist in this world. If you ever need help, real help, not strings attached, call me, I mean that. Dante Castellano. Rosa read it 3 times, tears streaming down her face. She looked at Miguel, who was reading a library book, oblivious to the complexity of what had just happened. A mafia boss mourning his dead daughter, a mother trying to give her son one perfect birthday. 2 worlds that should never have touched, colliding in a bakery over a Spider-Man cake. Rosa should throw the card away. Forget this ever happened. Stay far away from Dante Castellano and his dangerous world. Instead, she tucked the card into her wallet next to the photo of Miguel on his first day of school. Just in case. Outside, 3 floors below, Marco sat in a black SUV watching Rosa's apartment window. He pulled out his phone and dialed. She take the card? Dante's voice. Yeah, boss. She read your note too. Good. Boss, you sure about this? Getting involved with civilians, I know what it is, Marco. I've been doing this 30 years. I know exactly what it is. A pause. She's pretty. The woman. That's not why I helped her. Then why? Dante was quiet for a long moment. Because when Sophia died, strangers sent flowers, donations, sympathy cards. But not one of them looked at me like I was human. Like I was just a father who lost his little girl. They saw the boss, the criminal, the monster. His voice roughened. That woman today? She looked at me and saw a person, someone hurting, and her kid hugged me like I was worth something. Marco understood. The boss had been drowning in grief for a year, pushing everyone away, burying himself in work and violence. This was the first time he'd shown any sign of wanting to feel something again. So what now? Now? Dante stared at the lit window where Rosa was putting her son to bed. Now we make sure they're safe. Find out who she works for, who she owes money to if anyone's giving her trouble. Discreetly, Marco. I don't want her scared. And if someone is giving her trouble, then we remind them why it's a bad idea to prey on people who can't fight back. Marco smiled. This was the boss he knew. Protective, fierce, deadly when defending the people he cared about. One more thing, Dante added. Find out what the kid likes besides Spider-Man. Books, toys, whatever. I want to know. Boss, you getting attached to these people? Maybe. Is that a problem? Luca's not gonna like it. He already thinks you're distracted. Luca can go fuck himself. Dante's voice went cold. I'm still running this family, and if I want to help a woman and her kid, that's my business. After hanging up, Dante sat in his own car 2 blocks away, looking at a photo on his phone. Sophia, age 7, covered in flour, laughing as she helped him make birthday cookies. Her eyes, so full of life, so full of love, gone now. Leukemia had taken her in 8 brutal months, despite every specialist, every treatment, every prayer. And a year later, on what should have been her 8th birthday, Dante had gone to the bakery where they used to pick out cakes together, planning to order one for the children's hospital, the same thing he'd done every month since her death. Instead, he'd found Rosa and Miguel. And for the first time since Sophia died, he'd felt something other than crushing grief, hope, purpose. The sense that maybe, just maybe, he could still do something good in this world. Even if that world was built on blood and violence. Even if getting close to these people might be the most dangerous thing he could do. For them, and for him. Drop a comment. Should Rosa have taken Dante's card? Is the Mafia boss dangerous or just heartbroken? And what happens when their two worlds collide? Hit like and subscribe, because the next part reveals what happens when Dante discovers Rosa's boss is abusing her, and his reaction will shock you. 4 days until Miguel's birthday. Rosa wiped down the last table at Vincenzo's Italian restaurant, her back aching from the double shift. It was almost 10 p.m., and the dinner rush had been brutal. "Rosa, get in here!" Tony's voice barked from the kitchen. Rosa closed her eyes, bracing herself. Tony Marino was in his 50s, overweight, sweaty, and mean. He'd hired Rosa 6 months ago when she was desperate, and he'd been holding that desperation over her head ever since. She pushed through the kitchen doors. Tony stood by the cash register, counting bills with thick fingers. "Yeah, boss? Table 7 left a $20 tip. Where is it?" Rosa's stomach tightened. "You took it when you cleared the table an hour ago. I saw you." Tony's face reddened. "You calling me a liar?" "I'm saying I saw you take it." "You got some nerve." Tony stepped closer, using his size to intimidate. "You know what? I don't like your attitude lately. You're getting too comfortable. Maybe I should call immigration, have them check your papers again." "My papers are fine. I'm legal, you know that." "Yeah, but do they know that? Lot of paperwork to sort through. Lot of questions they might ask. About your kid, where he stays while you work late." Tony let the threat hang. Rosa forced herself to stay calm. "What do you want, Tony?" "I want respect, and I want you to remember who's boss here." He turned back to the register. "You're working tomorrow night. Saturday, too." "I can't work Saturday. It's Miguel's birthday." "Then Miguel's gonna have to wait. We got a private party Saturday night. 50 people. I need all hands." "Tony, please. You work or you're fired. Simple." He didn't even look at her. "Now get out. I'm closing up." Rosa walked out of the restaurant feeling hollowed out. Saturday was supposed to be Miguel's special day. The cake was coming. She'd invited 3 of his school friends. It was supposed to be perfect. She started the long walk home. Bus fare was money she couldn't spare tonight. The streets were dark, dangerous after 10 p.m., but Rosa had pepper spray and knew how to stay alert. She was 2 blocks from her apartment when the black SUV pulled up beside her. Rosa's hand went to the pepper spray. The passenger window rolled down. Marco, Dante's enforcer, looked at her from the driver's seat. "Ms. Martinez, Mr. Castellano sent me. Get in, I'll drive you home." "No thank you, I'm fine walking." "It's not safe. 3 women got mugged on this route last month." "I said I'm fine." Marco sighed. "Look, the boss gave me an order. Make sure you get home safe. If I come back without doing that, I'm gonna have a bad night. Please, just get in." Rosa hesitated. Every instinct screamed this was a bad idea. But her feet hurt, she was exhausted, and 3 more blocks felt like 3 miles. "Just to my building, that's it." "That's it," Marco agreed. Rosa got in. The SUV was warm, Leather seats smelled like expensive cologne, so different from her world of bus seats and cracked sidewalks. "How did you know where I was?" Rosa asked as Marco drove. "I didn't. I've been checking the restaurants near your place every night this week. Figured eventually I'd find where you work." "That's creepy. That's protective. There's a difference. Does Mr. Castellano send you to follow all the women he meets?" Marco actually smiled, a rare expression on his scarred face. "No, ma'am, just you." "Why?" "You'd have to ask him that." They drove in silence. Rosa watched the streets pass, trying not to think about how easy it would be to get used to this, being driven home instead of walking through dangerous neighborhoods, having someone care if she made it safely. That was the trap, wasn't it? Accept a little help, then a little more until suddenly you owed everything. Marco pulled up in front of her building. "Here you go." "Thank you." Rosa reached for the door handle. "Ms. Martinez?" Marco's voice stopped her. "The boss wanted me to ask, is anyone giving you trouble? At work, in the building, anywhere?" "Why?" "Because if they are, he'll handle it." "Handle it how?" Marco's expression went carefully neutral. "However it needs to be handled." Rosa thought of Tony, his threats, his theft, his constant intimidation. For a moment, just a moment, she imagined what it would be like to have someone make him stop. Then she remembered what Dante was, what handling it probably meant in his world. "No trouble," she lied. "Tell Mr. Castellano thank you for the ride, but I don't need any more help." "You sure?" "I'm sure. Good night, Marco." Inside her apartment, Miguel was asleep on the couch, a blanket draped over him. Mrs. Chen from next door looked up from her knitting. "He fell asleep an hour ago," the elderly woman said. "Good boy, did his homework, ate his dinner, no trouble." "Thank you, Mrs. Chen." Rosa pressed $10 into the woman's hand. Money she couldn't spare but couldn't not pay. "Same time tomorrow?" "Of course, dear." Mrs. Chen patted her arm. "You work too hard." After the neighbor left, Rosa carried Miguel to his bed. He stirred slightly. "Mommy?" "Shh, mi amor. Go back to sleep." "Is it Saturday yet?" "2 more days." Miguel smiled without opening his eyes. "I'm going to have the best birthday ever." Rosa kissed his forehead, her heart breaking. How was she going to tell him she had to work? That there'd be no party, no friends over, no celebration? She couldn't. Not yet. The next morning, Rosa woke to find an envelope had been slipped under her door. No markings, no name. Inside was $500 in cash and a typed note. Not a loan, not a gift. Payment for information. Mr. Castellano would like to know the name of your employer and the address of your workplace, if you're comfortable sharing. If not, keep the money anyway. Rosa stared at the bills. $500. That was rent money, medicine money, food for a month. All she had to do was tell Dante about Tony. Her hands shook. This was wrong. This was dangerous. Men like Dante didn't ask for information out of curiosity. They asked because they were planning something. But Tony was stealing from her, threatening her, treating her like garbage. And Miguel deserved better than a mother too scared to accept help. Rosa pulled out Dante's business card and dialed before she could change her mind. He answered on the first ring. "Ms. Martinez." "How did you know it was me?" "This is my private line. Only 5 people have the number. Marco told me he gave you a ride last night." "He did. Thank you for that." "You're welcome. Marco said someone at your work is giving you problems." "I didn't say that." "You didn't have to. I can read people, Ms. Martinez. It's how I've stayed alive this long." A pause. Who is it? Rosa took a breath. My boss, Tony Marino, at Vincenzo's on 3rd Street. He steals tips, threatens to call immigration even though my papers are legal, and he's making me work on my son's birthday. Silence on the other end. Then, he put his hands on you? No, just threats, intimidation. That's enough. Dante's voice had gone cold, the voice of the Mafia boss, not the grieving father. Consider it handled. What does that mean? It means he won't bother you anymore. Mr. Castellano, I don't want anyone hurt. He won't be, not unless he's stupid. Dante's tone softened slightly. Ms. Martinez, Rosa. May I call you Rosa? Yes. Rosa, people like Tony prey on people like you because they think no one will stop them. They're wrong. Someone will stop them. Today, that someone is me. Why? Why do you care? Another pause. Longer this time. Because a year ago I couldn't save my daughter. I had all the money, all the power in the world, and I couldn't save her. But maybe I can help you. Maybe that counts for something. Rosa felt tears burning. Your note said she died on her birthday. The day before, she was in the hospital. We sang Happy Birthday at midnight. All the nurses joined in. She smiled, told me she loved me, and then... His voice cracked. She was gone 3 hours later. I'm so sorry. So am I. Which is why I want your son to have a real birthday, with his mother there, not working some dead-end job for an asshole who doesn't appreciate her. Rosa closed her eyes. Okay. Okay? Help me, please. She heard the relief in his voice. Consider it done. Go to work tonight like normal. I promise, by the end of your shift, things will be different. That night, Rosa arrived at Vincenzo's at 5 p.m. The dinner rush was already starting. Tony was in his usual spot by the register, barking orders. Rosa tied on her apron and started taking orders. An hour passed. Then 2. At 7:30, the front door opened. 3 men walked in. Not customers. They wore expensive suits, moved with the coiled confidence of predators. Rosa recognized the type. Dante's people. The leader, tall, silver-haired, cold eyes, walked directly to Tony. Tony Marino. Tony looked up, and his face went pale. Yes? I'm Mr. Ricci. I represent Dante Castellano. We need to talk, now, in private. The blood drained from Tony's face. He looked around frantically, then led the men into the back office. Rosa kept working, heart pounding. The other waitress, Sophia, leaned over. Who are those guys? I don't know, Rosa lied. 15 minutes later, the office door opened. Tony stumbled out, face white as paper, sweat pouring down. The 3 men followed. Mr. Ricci walked to the middle of the restaurant and raised his voice. Can I have everyone's attention? Mr. Marino has an announcement. Tony looked like he might vomit. I'm making some changes. All employees will now receive their full tips. No more pooling, no more deductions, and... He swallowed hard. And anyone who wants Saturday off can have it. Paid. The staff stood in shocked silence. Anything else, Mr. Marino? Mr. Ricci's tone was pleasant, but the threat underneath was clear. And I apologize. To anyone I've treated unfairly, especially you, Rosa. You've been a good worker. I'm sorry. Mr. Ricci smiled. Excellent. We'll be checking in regularly to make sure these new policies stick. Understood? Tony nodded frantically. Understood. The 3 men left as smoothly as they'd arrived. The moment they were gone, Tony disappeared into his office and didn't come out for the rest of the night. Sophia grabbed Rosa's arm. What just happened? I think Tony just learned a lesson about respect, Rosa said quietly. When her shift ended at 10 p.m., Rosa found Marco waiting outside. "Boss wants to know if the problem's solved," Marco said. "What did you do to him?" "Nothing. Just explained that Mr. Castellano takes a personal interest in your well-being. That any further problems would be taken personally." Tony understood the message. "You threatened him." "We informed him. There's a difference." Marco opened the car door. "Come on. Boss wants to see you." "Now?" "Now." Rosa should refuse, should run, should take Miguel and disappear to another city where mafia bosses didn't buy birthday cakes and solve problems with threats. Instead, she got in the car. Marco drove to the north side, the wealthy part of town where Rosa had never been. They pulled up to an upscale restaurant with a discreet sign, Castellanos. Inside, the place was elegant. Dark wood, white tablecloths, soft lighting. A legitimate business, Rosa realized. Not a front, but real. Marco led her to a private room in the back. Dante sat at a table, reading glasses on, going through paperwork. He looked up when she entered. "Rosa, thank you for coming." He stood, gestured to a chair. "Sit, please. Have you eaten?" No." Dante called to someone outside. "Marco, tell Giuseppe we need 2 plates, the special." "Mr. Castellano." "Dante, please, Mr. Castellano was my father." Rosa sat, feeling surreal. "You didn't have to do this. What you did tonight with Tony." "Yes, I did." Dante removed his glasses, met her eyes. "You asked for help. I helped. That's how this works." "How what works?" "Friendship. Partnership. Whatever this is." He leaned back. "Rosa, I'm going to be honest with you. When I saw you and Miguel at that bakery, something changed. For the first time in a year, I felt like maybe I could still be a person. Not just the boss. Not just the monster everyone sees. A person who does good things. You're not a monster. You don't know what I've done. I know what you did for my son. That's enough." A server brought food, pasta with wine sauce, perfectly cooked. Rosa's mouth watered. "Eat," Dante urged. "Giuseppe's the best chef in the city." They ate in silence for a few minutes. Then Dante spoke again. "I have a proposition for you." Rosa's fork stopped midway to her mouth. "What kind of proposition?" "A job. Here, managing this restaurant. It's legitimate, no illegal operations, clean books, regular customers. I need someone trustworthy to run it. Someone who understands service, who cares about people. That's you. I don't have experience managing. You have 6 months of dealing with Tony's bullshit and still showing up with a smile. That's more qualification than most. Plus, I'll train you. And the pay is triple what Tony was giving you. Health insurance, paid time off, real benefits." Rosa stared at him. "Why?" "Because I can. Because you deserve it. Because—" He stopped, seeming to struggle with the words. "Because every time I see you and Miguel, I remember Sophia. And it makes the pain less, not gone, but less. Like maybe her death wasn't completely meaningless if it led me to help someone." Tears spilled down Rosa's cheeks. "This is too much. I can't." "You can, and you will. Because your son deserves a mother who isn't exhausted and scared all the time. He deserves stability." Dante pulled out a folder. "Contract. Look it over. Take it to a lawyer if you want. Start Monday if you accept." Rosa opened the folder with shaking hands. The salary number made her dizzy. She could afford a better apartment, save money, give Miguel things she'd never dreamed of. But there had to be a catch. Men like Dante didn't give without taking. "What do you want from me?" she asked quietly. "Really want?" Dante met her eyes. "Nothing you're not willing to give." I want you to run my restaurant well. Be honest. Work hard. That's it. That's really it? That's it. And maybe, his voice roughened, maybe let me be around your son sometimes. Not in a weird way. Just, Miguel reminds me of Sophia. How she used to be before the sickness. That joy, that innocence. Being around him makes me remember what I'm fighting to protect. Rosa saw it then. The broken father underneath the dangerous boss. The man drowning in grief who'd found a life raft in her son's smile. Okay, she whispered. I'll take the job. Dante's expression transformed. Relief, gratitude, something deeper. Thank you. But I have conditions. Name them. You stay away from Miguel when you're doing whatever it is you do. The dangerous stuff. I don't want him seeing that side of your world. Agreed. And if this goes bad, if you turn out to be using me for something, I walk away. No questions, no threats, no consequences. Deal? Dante extended his hand. Deal. Rosa shook it. His grip was warm, firm, gentle, despite the power she knew those hands held. As Marco drove her home later, Rosa looked at the contract in her lap. She'd just tied herself to a mafia boss, made a deal with a dangerous man. But maybe, just maybe, she'd also found someone who genuinely wanted to help. Someone who saw her as a person, not a tool. Someone who understood grief and loneliness and the desperate need to do something good. She'd find out Monday. For now, she had a son's birthday to plan, and for the first time in years, she had the resources to make it perfect. Saturday morning. Miguel's 7th birthday. Rosa woke at dawn to the sound of someone knocking. She threw on a robe and checked the peephole, expecting the bakery delivery. Instead, she saw Marco and another man struggling with an enormous box. She opened the door. What is this? Delivery from the boss. Marco grunted, maneuvering the box inside. Where do you want it? What is it? Marco cut the tape. Inside was an inflatable bounce house. Small, but perfect for their tiny apartment courtyard. Plus boxes of decorations, balloons, party favors, a superhero piñata. Rosa's hand covered her mouth. He didn't have to. He wanted to. Marco straightened. Bakery truck's coming at 10 with the cake. Boss will be here at noon. He's coming. Kid invited him. Yesterday at the restaurant. Marco almost smiled. Kid came in with you, ran up to the boss and said, Mr. Dante, you should come to my birthday party. Boss said yes before you could stop him. Rosa remembered. She'd brought Miguel by Castellanos yesterday to sign the contract. Miguel had been shy for about 5 seconds before deciding Dante was his new best friend. Marco, this is too much. All of this. Ms. Martinez, the boss hasn't smiled in a year. Your kid makes him smile. Let him do this, for his own sake as much as yours. After Marco left, Rosa stood in her living room surrounded by party supplies that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Miguel emerged from the bedroom, rubbing his eyes. Then he saw the boxes and screamed, Mommy! Is it my birthday? Is it now? Yes, mi amor. Happy birthday! Miguel tore through the apartment, discovering each surprise. The bounce house, the piñata, the decorations. His joy was so pure, so complete, that Rosa felt her concerns about Dante melt away. This was what mattered. Her son's happiness. At 9:30, Mrs. Chen came over to help set up. They transformed the small courtyard behind the building into a party wonderland. Other neighbors came out to watch, kids pressing their faces against windows. Rosa, who is paying for all this? Mrs. Chen whispered. A friend. Some friend. The old woman's eyes were shrewd. Be careful, dear. Expensive friends have expensive expectations. At 10 a.m. sharp, the bakery truck arrived. 2 workers carefully carried out the cake, and Rosa gasped. It was even more beautiful than she'd imagined. 3 tiers, not 2. The bottom tier was decorated with city buildings, the middle with Spider-Man swinging between them, and the top with Happy 7th Birthday Miguel in bright letters. Wait, I only ordered 2 tiers, Rosa said. The delivery man checked his invoice. Says here 3 tiers, paid in full by Mr. Dante Castellano, plus. He went back to the truck and returned with 3 additional boxes. Cupcakes, cookies, and a dessert table setup, all included. Rosa couldn't speak. This wasn't just a cake. This was a full celebration. Miguel's 3 school friends arrived at 11:30, Daniel, Sophia, and little Maria. They screamed when they saw the bounce house and immediately started jumping. Then, at noon exactly, a black SUV pulled up. Dante emerged wearing casual clothes, dark jeans, a black button-down shirt, sunglasses. He looked less like a mafia boss and more like someone's cool uncle. Marco followed, carrying more boxes. Mr. Dante! Miguel ran and hugged his legs. You came. Dante's face transformed, that same softness Rosa had seen at the bakery. Of course I came. Wouldn't miss it, champ. He handed Miguel a wrapped present. Happy birthday. Miguel tore into it. Inside was a limited edition Spider-Man action figure, the expensive kind Rosa could never afford. Whoa! Mommy, look! It's the rare one! What do you say? Rosa prompted. Thank you, Mr. Dante. This is the best birthday ever. Dante looked at Rosa over Miguel's head. His expression said everything. This is why. This is what I needed. The party was chaotic and perfect. Kids bounced, ate cake, took swings at the piñata. Neighbors joined in, Mrs. Chen, the young couple from 4A, even grumpy Mr. Rodriguez, who usually complained about noise. Rosa watched Dante with the kids. He was surprisingly good with them, patient, playful, making them laugh. He helped Miguel hit the piñata, caught Sophia when she fell from the bounce house, tied Daniel's shoelace when it came undone. This was the man underneath the monster, Rosa realized. The father who'd loved his daughter completely. Marco stood apart, watching the perimeter with professional alertness. Rosa approached him. Does he ever relax? Not in public. Marco's eyes never stopped scanning. But this... He nodded toward Dante, laughing with Miguel. This is the closest I've seen in a year. You've worked for him a long time? 15 years, since I was 20. He took me in when I had nothing. Marco's scarred face softened slightly. Boss isn't what people think. He's hard when he needs to be. But he's fair, loyal, and he takes care of his people. Even when his people are just a waitress and her kid? Especially then. Because you don't want anything from him except kindness. That's rare in his world. At 2 p.m., they sang Happy Birthday. Miguel's face glowed in the candlelight. Rosa saw Dante singing, tears streaming down his face, not bothering to hide them. Today would have been Sophia's 8th birthday. After cake, while the kids played, Dante pulled Rosa aside. Thank you for letting me be here. Thank you for making this possible. All of this. Stop thanking me. Please. His voice was rough with emotion. You have no idea what this gave me. A reason to feel human again. Dante. Mr. Dante, Mr. Dante. Miguel ran over. Will you come to my school on Monday? We have family day and I want to bring you. Rosa's heart clenched. Miguel, Mr. Dante is very busy. What time? Dante asked. 10 o'clock. We show pictures and talk about our families. Dante looked at Rosa, asking silent permission. She wanted to say no, wanted to keep these worlds separate. But Miguel's hopeful face made the decision for her. If Mr. Dante can make it, that would be nice. I'll be there, Dante promised. The party wound down around 4 p.m. As guests left, each parent thanked Rosa, eyeing Dante with curiosity. The word would spread. Rosa Martinez had a wealthy, dangerous friend. That couldn't be good. After everyone left, Rosa and Dante sat on the courtyard steps while Miguel played with his new toys nearby. I start work Monday, Rosa said. I'm nervous. Don't be. Giuseppe will train you, and I'll be there if you need anything. Will people, your people, respect me? Or will they think I'm just some woman the boss is sleeping with? Dante's jaw tightened. Anyone who disrespects you answers to me. And for the record, that's not what this is. I know, but they won't. Then they'll learn. He looked at her seriously. Rosa, I want to be honest about something. I have enemies, rivals, people who'd love to see me weak. If they find out about you and Miguel, they'll use us against you, Rosa finished, stomach dropping. I won't let that happen. I'm assigning protection. Marco will shadow you. Another man will watch Miguel's school. You won't see them, but they'll be there. That's not a normal life. No, it's not. If you want out, now's the time. I'll understand. I'll still make sure Tony never bothers you. Still help however I can. But if you stay, if you take this job, let me be part of your lives. You're entering my world, and my world is dangerous. Rosa looked at Miguel, so happy, so innocent. Then at Dante, this broken man trying to rebuild himself through kindness. I'm staying, she said. But promise me something. Anything. If it gets too dangerous, if your enemies come for us, you'll help us disappear. New city, new names, whatever it takes. I won't let Miguel get hurt because of me. You have my word, and my protection. Always. They sat in silence as the sun set. Miguel eventually climbed into Rosa's lap, exhausted and happy. Best birthday ever, Mummy, he murmured, already half asleep. I'm glad, mi tesoro. Mr. Dante's nice. I wish he could be my dad. Rosa's breath caught. Dante went very still. You have me, mi amor. That's enough. I know, but other kids have dads. I want one too. Miguel looked up at Dante with innocent hope. Could you be my dad, Mr. Dante? Dante's face crumpled. He couldn't speak. Rosa intervened gently. Miguel, Mr. Dante has his own family, his own life. But he's sad. I can tell. And Mommy's sad too sometimes. Maybe if you were together, nobody would be sad. Out of the mouths of children. Miguel, it's not that simple. Why not? The 7-year-old logic was unassailable. You like each other. You're both nice. You both need family. It makes sense. Dante finally found his voice. Miguel, I'd be honored to be in your life. As a friend, as someone who cares about you. But your mom and I, we just met. These things take time. Okay, Miguel yawned. But I still think you should be my dad. After Rosa put Miguel to bed, she walked Dante to his car. Marco waited in the driver's seat, giving them space. Sorry about that, Rosa said. He doesn't understand. Don't apologize. He's right, actually. I am sad, and being with you two makes it less. Dante took her hand. The first time he'd touched her beyond a handshake. His hand was warm, strong. Rosa, I need you to understand something. This isn't about romance. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Right now, I'm just a broken man trying to remember how to be human. I know. But Miguel asking me to be his dad, his voice cracked. That meant everything. Because Sophia used to ask strangers to be her mom after Beatrice died. She was so lonely, so desperate for family. I never gave her that. Never remarried, never found someone. I was too buried in grief. You were surviving. I was hiding. He squeezed her hand. I don't want to hide anymore. I want to be part of something good. Part of your lives if you'll let me. As friends? As family. The kind you choose, not the kind you're born into. Rosa felt tears coming. I'd like that. Dante pulled her into a hug. Gentle, respectful, but full of need. Like a drowning man clinging to a life raft. Thank you, he whispered. For today. For everything. Thank you for making my son happier than I've ever seen him. When they pulled apart, Dante wiped his eyes. Monday, 10 a.m. I'll be at Miguel's school. You really don't have to. I want to. I need to. He got in the SUV. See you Monday at the restaurant. 9 a.m., your first day. As the car pulled away, Rosa stood in the dark courtyard, mind spinning. In less than a week, her entire life had changed. She had a new job, a powerful protector, and a man who looked at her son like he was precious. But she also had a target on her back now. Because everyone in Dante's world would soon know about her, and some of them wouldn't be happy about it. Inside the SUV, Marco glanced at his boss. You're in deep, boss. I know. Luca's been asking questions. He knows you've been distracted. Dante's expression hardened. Let him ask. He's my underboss, not my keeper. He thinks you're getting soft, that the woman and kid are making you vulnerable. Then he doesn't understand what strength is. Dante looked out the window at the passing city. I spent a year being hard, being cold, being nothing but the boss, and it nearly destroyed me. Sophia would have hated what I became. And now? Now I'm choosing to be human again. If that makes me vulnerable, so be it. Marco was quiet for a moment. Luca won't let it go. Then Luca and I are going to have a problem. At his mansion, Dante went to Sophia's room, unchanged since her death. Pink walls, stuffed animals, drawings she'd made. He sat on her small bed. Hey, princess, he whispered. I know you sent them to me. Rosa and Miguel. I know it was you telling me to live again. Tears streamed down his face. I'm trying, baby. I'm really trying. But I'm scared. Scared I'll fail them like I failed you. A breeze stirred the curtains, carrying the scent of roses, Sophia's favorite flower. And Dante felt for just a moment like his daughter was there, telling him it was okay to love again. Okay to be happy. Okay to build a new family, even if that family came with danger, even if protecting them might cost him everything. Across town, in a dark office, Luca Romano sat with two of his men. The boss is compromised? Luca said, voice cold. Some waitress and her brat. He's obsessed. What do you want us to do? Nothing yet. But find out everything about this Rosa Martinez, where she's vulnerable, what she cares about, who she loves. The kid. Especially the kid. Luca smiled without warmth. When the time comes, we'll remind the boss why emotion is weakness, why attachment is liability. And if he doesn't listen, Luca's expression was arctic. Then we'll have to remove the attachment, permanently. Monday morning. Rosa stood outside Castellano's restaurant at 8:55 a.m., smoothing her simple black dress for the 100th time. She'd bought it at a thrift store but pressed it carefully. First day, new beginning, new life. The door was unlocked. Inside, she found Giuseppe, the head chef, early 60s, white hair, kind eyes, waiting with an apron and a warm smile. "Ah, you must be Rosa. Welcome, welcome." He kissed both her cheeks in the Italian way. "Mr. Dante told me all about you. Come, I'll show you everything." The next 2 hours were a whirlwind. Giuseppe walked her through the restaurant's operations, reservation system, staff schedules, inventory management, supplier relationships. It was overwhelming, but exciting. "You'll do fine," Giuseppe assured her. "Just remember, treat the staff with respect, treat the customers like family, and everything else follows." At 11 a.m., Rosa called Mrs. Chen to check on Miguel before his family day event. "He's ready, dressed in his best shirt," Mrs. Chen reported. "Very excited to bring Mr. Dante to school." Rosa's stomach twisted with anxiety. Dante showing up at Miguel's school. What were people going to think? But it was too late to back out now. At 9:45, Dante called. "I'm picking you up. We'll go to the school together." "You don't have to." "I want to. 10 minutes. When the black SUV pulled up, Rosa climbed in beside Dante. He wore a navy suit. Expensive, but understated. Trying to look less intimidating, she realized. "Nervous?" he asked. "Terrified. These are judgmental parents. They're going to have questions. Let them question. Miguel's happy. That's what matters." At Miguel's elementary school, they found him waiting at the entrance, practically bouncing with excitement. "Mr. Dante, you came." "Told you I would, champ." Dante high-fived him. "Ready to show me your classroom?" Inside, the school was bright and cheerful. Colorful artwork covered the walls. Other parents milled around, mostly mothers in yoga pants and designer jackets, a few fathers in business casual. They all turned to stare at Dante. Rosa saw the recognition dawn on some faces. Whispers started immediately. Miguel's teacher, Ms. Anderson, approached with a professional smile. "You must be Miguel's family. I'm so glad you could make it. This is my mom," Miguel announced proudly. "And this is Mr. Dante. He's my friend. He bought me my birthday cake and came to my party." Ms. Anderson's smile tightened almost imperceptibly. "How lovely. Please find a seat. We'll start in a few minutes." The classroom had child-sized chairs arranged in a circle. Parents squeezed into them awkwardly. Dante folded his tall frame into the tiny seat beside Miguel, looking ridiculous and endearing. One by one, children introduced their families. Miguel waited patiently, holding Rosa's hand on one side and Dante's on the other. When his turn came, Miguel stood. "This is my mommy. She works really hard to take care of me. She's the best mom ever." Rosa's eyes burned. "And this is Mr. Dante. He's like my guardian angel. He helped us when things were hard. He's teaching me that good people help other people, even strangers." The room went silent. Every parent stared. Dante stood, looking uncomfortable but sincere. "Miguel's one of the bravest kids I've ever met. He and his mother have shown me that kindness still exists. I'm honored to be here." After the presentations, parents mingled over juice and cookies. Rosa saw the other mothers clustering, whispering, casting glances their way. One woman, designer clothes, expensive highlights, approached with a fake smile. "Rosa, isn't it? I'm Jennifer, Aiden's mom. I have to ask, how do you know Mr. Castellano? Everyone's wondering." Before Rosa could answer, Dante appeared at her elbow. "Rosa works for me. She's managing my restaurant. One of the most competent people I've ever hired." "Oh." Jennifer's expression flickered. Disappointment at not having juicier gossip. "That's nice. And you're helping with Miguel out of the goodness of your heart?" The question had claws hidden in it. I'm helping because Miguel reminds me of my daughter. Dante's voice went quiet. She died last year. Being around him helps me remember what I'm living for. Is there a problem with that? Jennifer went pale. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Yes, you did. Rosa found her voice, protective anger rising. You meant to insinuate something inappropriate. But you know what? We don't owe you explanations. Miguel is happy, healthy, and loved. That's all that matters. As Jennifer retreated, Dante squeezed Rosa's shoulder. You're fierce when protecting your kid. I respect that. I learned from you, Rosa said quietly. Miguel ran over with his artwork, a drawing of 3 stick figures holding hands. One tall, one medium, one small. Look, it's us, our family. Rosa's heart clenched. Dante stared at the drawing, visibly struggling with emotion. Can I keep this? He asked Miguel. Yeah, I made it for you. As they left the school, Rosa noticed a black sedan parked across the street. 2 men inside watching. Marco in another SUV behind them, also watching. Protection or surveillance. Maybe both. I see them, Dante murmured. My men, making sure you're safe. And the other car? His expression darkened. Not mine. Marco's following them. We'll know who they are by tonight. Fear prickled Rosa's spine. Who would watch us? Could be rivals, could be cops, could be nothing. But his tone said it wasn't nothing. That afternoon at the restaurant, Rosa threw herself into work. The lunch rush was intense but manageable. She handled a difficult customer with grace, resolved a kitchen mix-up, and personally ensured every table left satisfied. Giuseppe pulled her aside at 3 p.m. You're a natural. Mr. Dante chose well. Thank you, that means a lot. He needs someone like you, someone genuine. The old chef's eyes grew sad. Since Sophia died, he's been a ghost, going through motions, dangerous even. But with you, with your boy, he's coming back to life. Giuseppe, what was she like? Sophia? Ah, the chef's face lit up. Sunshine in human form. She loved cooking, would stand on a stool beside me making pasta. Always laughing, always curious. When she got sick, his voice broke. It destroyed us all, but Mr. Dante most. He blamed himself, thought his lifestyle somehow brought the disease. Crazy, but grief makes us crazy. At 5 p.m., as Rosa was closing out the register, Dante arrived looking tense. We need to talk, privately. In his office, he shut the door. The car watching the school, I know who sent them. Who? Luca Romano, my underboss. Dante's jaw was tight. He's been questioning my decisions lately. Thinks I'm distracted, weak. He's watching you and Miguel to find leverage. Rosa's blood ran cold. What does that mean? It means I need to have a conversation with him. Make clear that you're untouchable. He took her hands. Rosa, I need you to trust me. Can you do that? What are you going to do? What I have to. But I promise. No one will hurt you or Miguel. I'd burn the world down first. The intensity in his eyes was both comforting and terrifying. Dante, maybe this is too dangerous. Maybe I should quit, take Miguel and... Run? Where? Luca's already seen you. If you run now, you look like a threat trying to escape. That makes it worse. He squeezed her hands. Stay close. Let me protect you. That's the only way through this. A knock interrupted them. Marco entered, expression grim. Boss, Luca's here. Says he needs to talk. Now. Dante's face went hard. Send him in. Rosa, stay. Dante, I should go. Stay. This concerns you. You should hear it. Luca Romano entered. Early 40s, handsome in a cruel way, expensive suit, eyes like chips of ice. He saw Rosa and his lip curled. So this is the famous Rosa Martinez, the woman who's got my boss wrapped around her finger. Luca, watch yourself, Dante warned. Or what? Luca laughed without humor. Boss, we need to talk. About priorities, about leadership, about what's good for the family. Then talk. Luca glanced at Rosa. Privately. Anything you say to me, you can say in front of her. Luca's expression hardened. Fine. The men are worried. You've been distracted, making decisions based on emotion instead of strategy. All because of this woman and her kid. Be very careful what you say next. Dante's voice dropped to a deadly quiet. I'm saying what everyone's thinking. You're compromised. This civilian is making you weak, and weakness gets people killed in our world. Rosa felt like she was watching a bomb tick down to detonation. Dante stood slowly. You think caring about people is weakness? In our world? Yes. Then you don't understand what strength is. Dante walked around his desk. I've led this family for 15 years. I've made hard calls, done dark things, survived wars that killed stronger men. And I did it all while loving my daughter, my wife, my family. Love didn't make me weak. It made me something worth fighting for. Sophia's dead, Luca said bluntly. Beatrice is dead, and now you're replacing them with strangers? Dante moved so fast, Rosa barely saw it. One moment, he was standing still. The next, Luca was slammed against the wall, Dante's forearm across his throat. Don't you ever speak their names, Dante hissed. Don't you dare use my dead child to justify your power play. Luca struggled, but couldn't break free. Boss, can't breathe. Good. Remember this feeling. Remember who's in charge. Dante leaned closer. Rosa Martinez is under my protection. Her son is under my protection. Anyone who touches them dies. Anyone who threatens them dies. Anyone who even looks at them wrong answers to me. Are we clear? Luca managed a nod. Dante released him. Luca collapsed, gasping. Now get out. And spread the word. The woman and her kid are family. Anyone who has a problem with that can challenge me directly. Luca straightened, murder in his eyes. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Unless you want to make it permanent. After Luca left, silence filled the office. Rosa was shaking. I'm sorry you had to see that, Dante said, his voice returning to gentle. Is he going to hurt us? He's going to try. That's why Marco's doubling your security. 2 men on you at all times. 2 more on Miguel. I won't let anything happen to you. This is insane. We're nobody. Why does your underboss care so much? Because in my world, attachment is vulnerability. If someone wants to hurt me, the easiest way is through the people I care about. He cupped her face gently. But I'm not letting you go. Not now. Not ever. You're too important. Dante, I know this is scary. I know you didn't sign up for mob politics and death threats, but you're in it now. And the safest place for you is right here, where I can protect you. Rosa wanted to argue, wanted to grab Miguel and run. But she saw the truth in Dante's eyes. Running would only make them pray. Okay, she whispered. We stay. But promise me something. Anything. If it comes down to choosing between protecting us and protecting yourself, you choose yourself. Miguel and I will survive. We always have. But you, her voice cracked. You've already lost so much. I won't let you lose more because of us. Dante pulled her into his arms. Too late, I'm already in too deep. They stood like that, holding each other. 2 broken people trying to build something good in a world of violence. Neither saw Luca outside, phone to his ear, speaking to someone in rapid Italian. Neither knew the real threat was just beginning. That night, after Rosa picked up Miguel and returned to their apartment, she found another envelope under the door. Inside was a photo. Miguel, taken that afternoon at school. Playing on the playground, unaware he was being watched. On the city back, written in red ink, "Children are so fragile, so easy to lose. Ask Dante." Rosa's scream brought Mrs. Chen running. The old woman took one look at the photo and immediately called the number Rosa had given her for emergencies. Marco answered. "Ms. Martinez?" Someone photographed Miguel, threatened him. "There's a note. Lock your door. Don't open it for anyone but me. I'm 5 minutes away." Rosa clutched Miguel, who was confused and scared. "Mommy, what's wrong?" "Nothing, mi amor. Everything's fine." But everything wasn't fine, because someone had just declared war, and Rosa and Miguel were caught in the crossfire. Marco arrived in 4 minutes, not 5. Rosa heard his distinctive knock, 3 sharp raps, and threw open the door. Behind him stood 2 more armed men, faces grim. "Let me see it," Marco demanded. Rosa handed him the photo with shaking hands. Marco's jaw tightened as he read the message on the back. He pulled out his phone. "Boss, we have a problem." Dante's voice crackled through. "I'm already on my way." Marco turned to Rosa. "Pack a bag. Essentials for you and Miguel. You're coming with me." "Where?" "Safe house until we figure out who sent this." "Marco, I can't just disappear. I have work. Miguel has school." "You have a target on your back." Marco's tone left no room for argument. "Pack. Now." Rosa grabbed a duffel bag with trembling hands. Clothes for her and Miguel, toiletries, Miguel's asthma inhaler, his favorite stuffed animal. Miguel watched, confused and scared. "Mommy, where are we going?" "On an adventure, mi amor. Remember how Mr. Dante promised to keep us safe? We're going somewhere very safe." 10 minutes later, they were in an armored SUV speeding through the city. Miguel fell asleep against Rosa's shoulder, exhausted by the confusion. Rosa stared out the window, watching their neighborhood disappear. How had this happened? A week ago, she was just a struggling waitress. Now she was fleeing in the night with armed guards because a Mafia underboss was threatening her child. They drove for 40 minutes to the north side, even wealthier than where Dante's restaurant was located. Marco pulled up to a gated estate, spoke into an intercom, and the gates swung open. The house was enormous. Modern architecture, all glass and steel, surrounded by high walls and security cameras everywhere. "Whose house is this?" Rosa asked. "Mine," came Dante's voice from the doorway. He stood silhouetted against the interior lights, still in his suit from earlier, but his tie was gone and his shirt was unbuttoned at the collar. He looked exhausted and furious. Rosa carried sleeping Miguel inside. The interior was stunning but cold. Expensive furniture that looked unused. Artwork on walls that no one really looked at. The house of a man who lived there, but didn't really inhabit it. "Guest room is upstairs, second door on the right," Dante said. "I had my housekeeper make up the beds." Rosa laid Miguel down gently. He stirred but didn't wake. She kissed his forehead and returned downstairs. Dante was in a large office. Marco and 3 other men gathered around a desk covered with photographs and documents. "Definitely Luca's play," one man was saying. "He's got 2 guys from the Moretti family helping him. They've been following the woman and kid for 3 days. "Why the Morettis?" Dante demanded. "Because Luca promised them a piece of our territory if they help him stage a coup. He wants your seat, boss. The words hung heavy in the air. Rosa stepped into the doorway. A coup? He wants to kill you? All the men turned. Dante's expression softened when he saw her. Rosa, you should rest. Don't protect me from the truth. Not now. She walked to the desk. If people are threatening my son because of me, I deserve to know why. Dante gestured for the men to leave. Give us a minute. When they were alone, he pulled out a chair for her. Sit. Rosa sat. Tell me everything. Dante took a breath. Luca's been positioning himself for a power grab for months. I knew it was coming, but I was too buried in grief to care. Then I met you and Miguel. Suddenly I had something worth protecting again, worth fighting for. That made me strong again, but it also gave Luca a target. Us. Yes. In my world, emotion is exploited. If Luca can hurt you, he knows it'll destroy me, make me reckless, give him an opening to take control. So what do we do? I end this. Tonight. Dante's voice went cold. I'm going to find Luca and make it very clear what happens to people who threaten my family. Your family, Rosa repeated. Dante, we barely know each other. We're not... You are. He grabbed her hands across the desk. You and Miguel are my family now. The only family I have left. And I protect my family, no matter what it costs. Before Rosa could respond, Marco burst back in. Boss, we got a problem. Luca's made a move. Dante was on his feet instantly. What kind of move? He grabbed the Chen woman, Miguel's babysitter, left a message. Rosa's blood turned to ice. Mrs. Chen? But why? Marco handed Dante a phone. On the screen was a video. Mrs. Chen tied to a chair, terrified, a man's hand gripping her shoulder. Luca's voice came through. You want the old woman back? Come alone to the warehouse on Pine Street. Midnight. Just you, Dante. No guards, no Marco, no backup. Otherwise, we start cutting pieces off her. The video ended. Rosa couldn't breathe. Oh my God. Mrs. Chen. She's just an old woman. She has nothing to do with this. Which is exactly why Luca took her, Dante said grimly. He knows you care about her. Knows it'll force my hand. He looked at Marco. Get 20 men, full weapons. We're going in hard. Boss, it's a trap. He wants you to bring an army so he can claim you broke the terms. I don't care. He took an innocent civilian. That crosses every line. Dante started for the door. Rosa grabbed his arm. Wait. This is suicide. You know it's a trap, and you're walking into it anyway. I have to. He'll kill her otherwise. Then let me come with you. Absolutely not. Dante, listen to me. Rosa moved in front of him, forcing eye contact. Luca wants you angry and reckless. That's his strategy. But what if we're smart? What if we give him what he expects? You showing up alone, but have your men surrounding the place ready to move. He'll have counters for that. Snipers watching for my backup. Then we make it look like you came alone. But I'm hidden in your car. I slip out, find Mrs. Chen while you're talking to Luca. Your men create a distraction, and we get her out. Marco was shaking his head. Too dangerous. You're not trained. I'm small, I'm fast, and I'm motivated. That woman babysits my son. I won't let her die because of me. Dante studied her face. You're serious. Completely. Rosa, if something goes wrong, if Luca's men catch you, then you'll save me the same way you're trying to save Mrs. Chen. Because that's what you do. You protect people. She grabbed his jacket. Let me help. Let me be part of this instead of just the damsel being protected. A long silence. Then Dante looked at Marco. Can we make it work? It's risky as hell, but yeah, maybe. Marco looked at Rosa with new respect. You sure about this, lady? These guys don't play. They'll put a bullet in you without blinking. I'm sure. 11:30 p.m. Rosa crouched in the back of Dante's SUV, dressed in dark clothes Marco had provided. A bulletproof vest was strapped over her chest, heavier than she'd expected. Remember, Marco said through the earpiece hidden in her ear. Wait until the boss is inside and talking, then slip out the passenger side. There's a service entrance on the east side of the warehouse. 2 guards, but my men will take them out silently at 11:58. That's your window. Got it. And Rosa? Marco's voice softened slightly. If things go sideways, you run. Don't try to be a hero. The boss would never forgive himself if you got hurt. Dante climbed into the driver's seat. He glanced back at her, hidden under a blanket. Last chance to change your mind. Drive. The warehouse district was dark and abandoned at this hour. Shipping containers loomed like metal giants. Dante parked in front of a large warehouse marked with a fading Pine Street storage. Rosa felt him tense. Through the tinted windows, she could see figures moving in the shadows, at least a dozen armed men. Dante got out slowly, hands visible. I'm here, Luca. Alone, like you asked. Let's talk. Luca emerged from the warehouse, flanked by 4 armed men. Even from her hiding spot, Rosa could see his smug expression. Well, the great Dante Castellano following orders like a good dog. How the mighty have fallen. Where's the woman? Inside. Alive. For now. Luca walked closer. You know what your problem is, Dante? You got soft. You started caring about things, people that make you weak. That waitress, her brat, now some old babysitter you've never even met. Compassion isn't weakness. In our world, it's suicide. Luca pulled out a gun. Which is why I'm taking over. The men already know what's happening. Half of them are with me. The other half will fall in line once you're dead. You really think killing me solves your problems? I think it solves mine. Luca raised the gun. Any last words? Yeah, you forgot something. What's that? I didn't come alone. Gunfire erupted from every direction. Dante dove behind the SUV as Luca's men scattered. Marco's team had been hidden in the containers, waiting. Rosa took her chance. She slipped out the passenger side and ran low toward the east entrance. Just as Marco promised, the 2 guards there were already down. Unconscious, not dead, she was relieved to see. Inside the warehouse, Rosa moved through darkness, using her phone's flashlight. Boxes, crates, industrial equipment. Where would they keep a hostage? Then she heard it. A woman crying. Mrs. Chen's voice. Rosa followed the sound to a small office in the back. Mrs. Chen was tied to a chair, mouth gagged, eyes wide with terror. Mrs. Chen, it's me, Rosa, I'm getting you out. Rosa worked at the ropes with shaking hands. Outside, gunfire continued, sharp cracks echoing off metal. The ropes finally came loose. Mrs. Chen ripped off the gag. Rosa, what are you doing here? This is too dangerous. No time. Can you walk? Yes, but Rosa helped her stand. They made it halfway to the door when it burst open. One of Luca's men stood there, gun raised. Well, look what we have here. The boss's little pet and her friend. Rosa put herself between him and Mrs. Chen. Let us go. You don't want to do this. Actually, I do. Killing you will break Dante, make him sloppy. That's the whole point. He aimed the gun at Rosa's head. I wouldn't, came a cold voice from behind him. Dante stood in the doorway, his own gun pressed against the back of the man's skull. Drop it. Now. The man hesitated. Dante pulled the hammer back. I won't ask twice. The gun clattered to the floor. Dante knocked the man unconscious with the butt of his weapon, then grabbed Rosa, checking her for injuries. Are you hurt? I'm fine. Mrs. Chen. Marco's got her. Come on, we need to move. They ran through the warehouse. Outside, the gunfight had ended. Luca was on his knees, hands zip-tied behind his back, Marco's gun to his temple. When Luca saw Rosa alive and unharmed, his face twisted with rage. You bitch. You ruined everything. Rosa walked up to him. This man who'd threatened her son, terrorized an old woman, tried to start a war, and she slapped him hard across the face. That's for Mrs. Chen, and if you ever come near my family again, it won't be a slap. Luca spat blood. You're not family. You're nothing. Just some slum girl the boss is playing with. Dante hit him so hard Luca's head snapped back. Say another word about her and I'll kill you right here. Boss, Marco warned. We need to decide what to do with him. Dante looked at his underboss. This man who'd betrayed him, endangered innocence, tried to destroy everything. By all rights and rules of his world, Luca should die. But Dante looked at Rosa, at Mrs. Chen being checked by a medic, at Marco and his loyal men who'd risked their lives tonight. And he made a choice. Exile, Dante said. Strip him of everything, rank, territory, money, put him on a plane to Europe, let him start over with nothing. Luca's eyes widened. You're letting me live? I'm showing you the mercy you never showed others. Maybe it'll teach you something. Dante turned away. But if you ever come back, if I ever hear you've hurt anyone in my territory, there won't be a second chance. Understood? Luca nodded, too shocked to speak. Marco hauled him away. The other men began cleanup. Rosa walked over to Mrs. Chen, who was wrapped in a blanket, shaking but unharmed. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. Hush, child. Mrs. Chen grabbed her hand. You saved me. You and Mr. Dante both. That's what matters. Dante approached. Mrs. Chen, I'm giving you a new apartment. Safer building, better neighborhood. And compensation for what you went through tonight. Whatever you need. Mr. Dante, I'm just an old woman who babysits. You're part of Rosa's life. That makes you part of mine. And I take care of my people. As they drove back to Dante's house, Rosa and Mrs. Chen in the back, Dante and Marco up front. Rosa felt the adrenaline crash hit. She started shaking uncontrollably. Dante pulled over, climbed into the back, and pulled Rosa into his arms. You're safe. It's over. I was so scared. When that man had the gun on me. But you didn't run. You protected Mrs. Chen. You were brave. He pulled back to look at her. Rosa, what you did tonight, that took real courage. I did what you would have done. Exactly. Which is why you're perfect. The word hung in the air. Perfect. Not for his world, but for him. Mrs. Chen had fallen asleep against the window. In the quiet car, with dawn approaching, Rosa finally asked the question that had been building all night. Dante, what are we doing? Really? This isn't just protection anymore. This isn't just you helping a stranger. What is this? Dante was quiet for a long moment. I don't know. All I know is when I thought you might die tonight, something in me broke. And I realized. His voice cracked. I can't lose you. I can't lose Miguel. You've become your family, Rosa finished. Yes, I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. I know my world is dangerous. But yes, you're my family. Rosa thought of Miguel, asleep at Dante's house, dreaming innocent dreams. Thought of the life she'd been living, struggling, afraid, alone. and thought of the life that was possible now. Still dangerous, but full of protection, purpose, and something she hadn't felt in years. Love. She was falling in love with a mafia boss. God help her. Okay, she whispered. Okay? We're your family. You're ours. We'll figure out the rest as we go. Dante kissed her forehead, gentle and reverent. Thank you for taking a chance on a broken man. Thank you for showing me I deserve better than survival. As they drove home through the dark streets, Rosa realized something. She'd spent years protecting Miguel from danger. But tonight, she'd walked into danger willingly. Because some things, some people, were worth the risk. And Dante Castellano, with all his darkness and damage, was worth it. Now she just had to hope they'd survive what came next. Morning light filtered through unfamiliar curtains. Rosa woke disoriented, then remembered Dante's house, the warehouse, Mrs. Chen, everything. She found Miguel in the kitchen, sitting at a massive marble island, eating pancakes. Dante stood at the stove, spatula in hand, wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Domestic, almost normal. "Mommy!" Miguel ran to her. "Mr. Dante makes the best pancakes. And look, this house has a pool." "I see that, mi amor." Rosa caught Dante's eye. He looked tired but peaceful. "We need to talk," he said quietly. "After breakfast." An hour later, Miguel was swimming with Marco watching him. Rosa and Dante sat in his office. "Luca's gone," Dante started. "On a plane to Spain, but his attempt opened my eyes. There are others in the organization who think like him, who see you as weakness." Rosa's stomach sank. "So this isn't over?" "Not completely, which is why I have a proposal." He pulled out a folder. "Marry me." Rosa choked. "What?" "Not a real marriage, a business arrangement, on paper only." Dante spoke quickly, like he'd rehearsed this. "If you're my wife, you're untouchable. Family law in our world is absolute. No one can touch you or Miguel without declaring war on me personally." "Dante, that's insane." "Is it? You're already living here, already part of my life. This just makes it official. Legal protection for you and Miguel. My name, my resources, my complete protection. In exchange, you keep managing the restaurant. Keep being..." He hesitated. "Keep being you. The person who reminds me I'm human." Rosa stood, pacing. "And what happens when you meet someone you actually want to marry? Someone from your world who understands it?" "I won't." His voice was certain. "I had that once with Beatrice. Lightning doesn't strike twice. But Miguel will think. He already thinks I'm his dad. You heard him. This just makes it real." Dante stood too. "Rosa, I know this is crazy, but in my world, it's the smartest move. And maybe..." His voice softened. "Maybe over time, it could become more than business. Or maybe not. Either way, you're protected." Rosa looked at this man who'd changed her life in 2 weeks, who'd saved her, protected her, given her son joy she couldn't provide alone. "If I say yes, I want conditions." "Name them." "Miguel never sees the violence. Never. You keep that part of your life completely separate." "Done. And if I want out, if this gets too dangerous or complicated, you let us go. No strings, no revenge, no hunting us down." Dante flinched but nodded. "Agreed, though I hope it never comes to that. One more thing." Rosa stepped closer. "You teach me your world. I'm not going to be some helpless civilian wife. If I'm in this, I'm really in it. I want to understand how things work, how to protect myself and Miguel if something happens to you." Dante smiled, genuine and warm. "You're extraordinary, you know that? I'm practical." So, do we have a deal? He extended his hand. We have a deal. They shook, then stood awkwardly. When? Rosa asked. Next week. Small ceremony. Just us, Miguel, Marco, a few others. Then we announce it to the organization. And people will believe it? That the boss married a poor single mom after 2 weeks? They'll believe I fell hard and fast. It happens. His expression turned serious. Rosa, I need you to understand something. Once we do this, there's no going back. You'll be Rosa Castellano. That name carries weight and danger. Are you absolutely sure? Rosa thought of Miguel's laughter this morning, of Mrs. Chen safe in a new apartment, of the restaurant job that gave her dignity, of the man standing before her, broken but trying to be better. I'm sure. 1 week later, Rosa stood in a simple white dress in Dante's living room. A judge, clearly on Dante's payroll, conducted the ceremony. Miguel held the rings, beaming. Do you, Dante Castellano, take Rosa Martinez to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. And do you, Rosa Martinez, take Dante Castellano to be your lawfully wedded husband? Rosa looked at Dante, saw the hope and fear mixed in his eyes, saw the little boy beside them, practically vibrating with excitement. I do. You may kiss the bride. Dante leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull back. She didn't. The kiss was soft, brief, appropriate. But something sparked, something real beneath the arrangement. Yay! Now you're my dad for real! Miguel hugged both their legs. Dante picked him up. That okay with you, champ? It's perfect. That night, after Miguel was asleep in his new room, fully decorated with superhero posters, Rosa and Dante sat on the back patio. So, we're married, Rosa said. We are. How do you feel? Terrified, hopeful, confused. She looked at him. You? Like maybe I get a second chance, not to replace what I lost, but to build something new. He took her hand. Thank you, Rosa, for choosing this. Choosing me. Don't thank me yet. I'm probably going to make your life very complicated. Dante laughed, real and genuine. I'm counting on it. Inside, Marco watched them through the window. He'd never seen the boss like this. Happy. Alive. Human. Maybe the waitress and her kid really were exactly what he needed. Rosa stood in the restaurant kitchen, reviewing inventory with Giuseppe. Through the window, she could see the dining room, packed as usual. Castellanos had become the most popular spot in the city under her management. Mrs. Castellano, your 3 o'clock is here, a server announced. Rosa still felt a jolt hearing that name. Mrs. Castellano, wife of Dante Castellano. Except it didn't feel fake anymore. She found Dante at their usual table, reading glasses on, reviewing paperwork. He looked up when she approached, and his entire face transformed, that smile reserved only for her and Miguel. How's your day? He asked, pulling out her chair. Busy, good. She sat. Miguel has a soccer game Saturday. You promised you'd come. Wouldn't miss it. Dante's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and frowned. Work? Always. He put it away. But it can wait. Right now, I'm having lunch with my wife. The words still sent butterflies through Rosa's stomach. They'd been married 6 months, living together, raising Miguel together. But they maintained separate bedrooms. The arrangement was still just an arrangement, except Rosa didn't want it to be anymore. She'd fallen in love with him, somewhere between family dinners and bedtime stories, between his gentle patience with Miguel and his fierce protection of them both. She'd fallen completely. She just didn't know if he felt the same. After lunch, as she walked Dante to his car, he stopped suddenly. Rosa, I need to tell you something. Her heart seized. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's... He took her hands. The organization is stable. Luca's gone. The territories are secure. For the first time in years, I'm not constantly fighting for survival. That's good, isn't it? It's more than good. It means I can actually live again. Be a person, not just the boss. He took a breath. And I've realized something. This arrangement we have, it's not enough anymore. Rosa's heart plummeted. He wanted out. He'd found someone else. She'd been fooling herself thinking, I'm in love with you, Dante said. Rosa's thoughts screeched to a halt. What? I love you. I've loved you for months. The way you manage the restaurant, the way you handle my world without flinching, the way you love Miguel. His voice cracked. The way you made me believe I could be happy again. I'm in love with you, Rosa. Completely. Tears spilled down Rosa's cheeks. I love you too. I've been terrified to say it because I thought... He kissed her. Not the polite kiss from their wedding, but deep and real and full of months of held-back feeling. When they pulled apart, both were crying and laughing. So, Dante said, what do you say we make this marriage real? Move into the same bedroom, be an actual family, not just on paper. Yes. God, yes. 1 year later, Miguel's 8th birthday party was at the restaurant, closed for private celebration. The entire organization attended, plus school friends, neighbors, everyone who mattered. Rosa, visibly pregnant with their daughter, watched Dante lift Miguel onto his shoulders as everyone sang happy birthday. Mrs. Chen appeared at her elbow. You did good, dear. Very good. I got lucky. No, you were brave. You chose love over fear. The old woman patted her hand. Your daughter will be born into a good family. After the party, in the car ride home, Miguel fell asleep between them. Dante's hand found Rosa's over their son's head. Thank you, he whispered. For what? For that day at the bakery, for saying yes to everything that followed, for giving me a reason to be better. He looked at Miguel. For giving me a family. You gave us one too. At home, after putting Miguel to bed, they stood in their daughter's nursery, Sophia's nursery, named for the little girl who'd brought them together. Think she's watching? Rosa asked, hand on her belly. I know she is. Dante wrapped his arms around her. And I think she's happy. That her dad found love again. That her name lives on. We wouldn't have found each other without her. No, we wouldn't. He turned Rosa to face him. I spent a year thinking my life was over, that I'd lost everything worth having. Then I saw you and Miguel at that bakery, and everything changed. You saved me, Rosa. Both of you. You saved us first. Then we saved each other. They stood in the soft glow of the nightlight, a mafia boss and the waitress who'd become his world. Two broken people who'd built something beautiful from pain. Outside, Marco sat in his car, watching the house. The boss was happy. Really, truly happy. Sometimes, Marco thought, the most dangerous men just needed the right woman and kid to remind them they were human. And sometimes, fairy tales happened in the darkest places, even in bakeries, even in the Mafia, even when you least expected it. If this story touched your heart, smash that like button. Comment where you're watching from and tell us, would you have been brave enough to accept Dante's offer? Subscribe because stories about love, redemption, and second chances are what make us believe in miracles. Thank you for joining Rosa and Dante's journey. Until next time.